Kodshim, I finished a few days before my brother passed away. It was supposed to be on the Motzi Shabbos of Chukas Barak, but obviously couldn't do it because of what happened. So I'm dedicating this to Lili Nishmas Achi Aaron ben Avram Shmuel Alevi. Amen. I don't do the Seder. I'm not doing Kinim. The last mission is very hard, so I don't want to give it over anyway. So I didn't come here prepared to give that over. But I always do the smaller Masechtas, the easier Masechtas first in the Seder, and then the harder ones I leave to the end, the longer ones I leave to the end. So I'm finishing with Menachos. And the last mission in the 13th parak is very short and very precise and to the point. And it says, Ne'amar ba'oras ha'behema, in Parshas Vayikra, Isharech Nechoach, a burnt offering of sweet favor, a fire offering to Hashem. Uva'oras ha'of, it says Isharech Nechoach. It says also the same words, Isharech Nechoach. Ubemincha, a flour offering, a mincha offering, Isharech Nechoach. It also says Isharech Nechoach. L'lamed she'echad amarba ve'echad amamit u'bavad she'yechavin adam es dato l'shamayim. To teach you that it doesn't matter to Hashem, those who do a lot and those who do a little, whatever they were capable of doing, as long as it's the maximum, the full potential that they're able to do, whether it's learning, whether it's bringing korbanos, ubavad she'yechavin es libo l'shamayim. The Gemara in Bracha says es libo l'shamayim, talking about davening and talking about learning. So it's even more exact that it says in the parsha in Parshas Vayikra, it says about the mincha offerings, nefesh ki yakriv. By the other two, by birds or by animals, it says adam sheyakriv, a man who will offer these two different kinds of offerings. But by the mincha offering, it says nefesh sheyakriv, a soul, a spirit, a soul that will offer. And the explanation by Chazal is that the person who usually brings a mincha offering, I mean every korban brings a mincha with it, but we're talking about specifically someone who only brings flour or baked matzah or whatever type of mincha offering, are usually the poor people who can't afford the animals and can't even afford the birds. So Hashem looks at it as if the person who's been makrif his whole soul, more so than the rich man who brings a big behema or the birds, more so than anything else, the person who puts himself out that he doesn't know where his next meal is going to come from, yet he dedicates something that he could have eaten to the beit hamikdash that's burnt as an olah. He doesn't get any benefit from it. He just wants to show his love and appreciation for Hashem, and thanks to Hashem, he knows that he trusts and has pure emunah that Hashem is going to help him, and that's why the Torah spells it out, nefesh ki yakriv. So that's good enough for this. So the types of mincha offerings, it's either fine flour ground very fine, a frying pan like fried matzah, or deep frying pan like it's almost baked, and then baked cakes and baked wafers. There's 5 types of mincha offerings. Okay, so now I'm going to make the siyum. Hadron alach seder kodshim v'hadrach alan datan alach seder kodshim v'datan alan lo nisnashe minach seder kodshim v'lo sisnashe minan lo v'amad hadain v'lo v'amad da'asah ha'erev na Adonai Eloheinu es divrei sorascha befinu v'fios amcha beis Yisrael v'ni akulanu anachnu v'tzetzeinu v'tzetzeinu v'tzetzei amcha beis Yisrael kulanu yodei shemecha v'lomdei sorasecha lishma me'oivai techakmeni mitzvosecha ki le'olam hili Yehi libi samim bechukecha laman lo evosh. L'olam lo eshkach pikudecha ki vam chi yisani baruch atah Adonai lamdeni chukecha. Amen, amen, amen salav va'ed. Moda ani lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'levasenu shesamta chelki miyoshvei veis hamidrash v'lo miyoshvei karnos shani mashkim v'hem mashkimim. Ani mashkim l'divrei Torah v'hem mashkimim l'dvarim b'telim. Ani amel v'hem amelim. Ani amel mekabel schar v'hem amelim v'enam mekablim schar. Ani ratz v'hem ratzim. Ani ratz l'chaya olam haba v'hem ratzim lever shachas. Shenemar v'ata Elohim toridem lever shachas anshe damim u'mirma lo yachsu yameim v'ani eftach bach. Yehi ratzon lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'levasenu. Kishem shazartani l'sayim seder kodshim kach tazreni lehaschil svorim acherim u'lesayamam lomod lomed mitoch harchava lishmor v'lasos l'kaim es kol divrei samon torasecha be'ava u'v'schus kol hatanoim v'amorim v'samidei chachamim hanizkorim b'seder kodshim v'chol hasvarim shelamadati ya'amod li la'azri v'lazer zari shalo samush haTorah hakdosha mipi u'mipi zari zara v'zari me'atavi ad olam v'yukuyam banu mikush hakasuv b'his halechacha tanchea osach v'shachbecha tishmor alecha v'hakitzosa hi sisichecha ki vi yirbu yamecha v'yosifu lecha shanos chayim orech yamim b'mina b'smola osha v'chavod Adonaios l'moiten Adonai v'reches hamo v'shalom l'hodos l'halel l'shabech l'fael l'ramim l'hader l'netzach al kol divrei shiros v'sishpechos David ben Yishai avdecha mishichecha Ba'atzasacha sancheni va'achar kavod tikacheni v'hu rachum yichaper avon v'lo yashchis v'hir ba lahashiv ha'apo v'lo ya'ir kol chamaso ashrei hagever asher tiyasrenu ya u'mitorasecha salamdenu v'ani b'chastecha b'tachti yager libi b'shuasecha ashur l'Adonai ki gamal alai so sasis b'Adonai tagel nafshi be'Elohai Ki hilbishani bigdei yesha me'il tzadka me'il tzadaka yatani k'chasan yachayin pe'er v'chakala ta'adeh cheleha v'yiftechu v'cha yodei shamecha ki lo azafta dorshecha Adonai simchu v'Adonai v'gilu tzadikim v'arninu kol yishrei lev ner l'ragli devarecha v'or l'nesivasi odcha ki anisani v'atihi li lishua hashir shalavim hayu amrim b'beis hamikdash yiskadal v'yiskadash shemei rabah v'amaduhu asid l'hischadata l'chaya mesaya ul'aska l'chaya alma l'mivnei kartad Yerushalem ולשכלל היכלי בגאווה ולמעקר פולחנה נוכרעה מהרה ולעשבה פולחנה דשמיא לעשרי וימליך קודשבריחו במחוסי ויקורא בחייכון ובמאכון ובחיידכו בית ישראל בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם אומר מיה יסברך וישתבח ויסבר וישרמם וישנשא ויסדר ויסעלה ויסעלה מבורך לעולם אומר מיה, יסברך וישתבח ויסבר וישרמם וישנשא סדר ויסעלה ויסעלה שמי בקודשה בריחו אמן לילה מן כל ברכסה ושובסה תשבחסה ונחמסה Gamiron Barma Vimro Amen. Al Yisrael Val Rabbanam Val Tamideon Val Kol Tamidei Samideon Val Kol Man Daskim Baraisa Diva Asra Adain B'Diva Chol Asar V'Asar Elon Lachon Shlama Rabba Chinu V'Chista V'Rachamim V'Chayin Arichin Mazonim Riviche Ofurkanu Mikadam Avun V'Ishmaya V'Ara V'Imro Amen. Shlama Rabba Min Shamayim V'Chaim Tovim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imro Amen. Shalom Brahma V'Barachama V'Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imro Amen. Amen. I'm just going to add on a couple of words. It won't be longer than 20, 30 minutes. So I'd like to talk about the subject of kodshim, which is korbanos, but the prat, the beit hamikdash. Right.
Every time we have to discuss.
That's right. No, it's not going to be the same thing. I'm not going to say the same things over again. I mean, it's in here, it's in these notes, but I'm going to skip those. I'm going to skip those parts. Okay, so the Ramchal in Derech Hashem, based on the Gemara in Brachos, Lamed Vav, that talks about the world being like Hashem's beit hamikdash. That the world belongs to Hashem, the palace of the king, the world belongs to Hashem, and you can't take anything. Everything you take belongs to Him, so you're stealing. It's me'ilah. The lashon of the Gemara is it's taking from the beit hamikdash. When you take something that's appropriated and made to be hektish and belongs to the beit hamikdash, and someone goes and takes that and uses it for themselves, it's this avera called me'ilah. Basically, expropriating or what's embezzling from the beit hamikdash, from the hektish, from Hashem's possession. But if you make the bracha on the apple, for example, so then Hashem willingly gives it to you. Then it's not stealing from the beit hamikdash. So based on that concept, it's not just that the whole world is the beit hamikdash, the Gabi ownership of Hashem and His payros and everything He created here that we're not allowed to use unless we give proper cover to Hashem. It's more than that. If, I don't remember where I heard this or saw this, but if the Klal Yisrael had not done the Chet Egel, they would have been able, with the Bechorim, who would have still been the Kohanim from each family, wherever they were in the world, they would be allowed to have their own private little bamos, even if they weren't in Eretz Yisrael, and they were able to give personal, not public, the only tzibur korbanos had to be where Hashem chose, like He said over and over again in the Chumash, and especially in Sefer Devarim, the makom I shall choose, in the place where I shall show you that is your place to bring me korbanos on behalf of the whole tzibur. But private olos, probably not even shlamim or anything else, only olos could have been offered anywhere in the world by Jews all over the world, probably only through the Bechorim. So that we lost that opportunity when we did the Chet Egel. So the whole world is the beit hamikdash, and the whole world is the palace of the king. And we know that David HaMelech in Tanakh yearned to build the beit hamikdash for Hashem. And Hashem said, no, you can't do it. Just like He told Moshe Rabbeinu, it's not good for you to come into Eretz Yisrael, because if you come into Eretz Yisrael and you build the beit hamikdash, and the Jews sin, the Bnei Yisrael sin, I have to destroy the people, and I can't take out my wrath on the building, because nothing that you make can I destroy. The Mishkan is extant today. It's hidden, but it was never destroyed. When the Shiloh was destroyed, it was the bricks that they built for a temporary Mishkan. It wasn't the original Mishkan that was set up in Shiloh, and it was knocked over by the Plishtim, but that was bricks that the later generations had made when they made the Mishkan there. The original Mishkan of Moshe is hidden and it cannot be destroyed. Nothing Moshe Rabbeinu touched could be destroyed. Same thing with David. He said, I can't let you build the base of hamikdash. Same thing. The Bnei Yisrael sin, and I'll have to destroy them, and it's not good. Let your son build it. It's not good for you to build it. It'll be destroyed. But he yearned for it, and he yearned to do it. And he made one mistake, says at the end of Shmuel Beis, and he counted the people without taking sculling, and it led to a magefa. And the Medrash says, David HaMelech said on the first day it took 70,000 people. It was supposed to be a 3-day magefa that he had chosen as a punishment, rather than 3 months of war or 3 years of drought or whatever it was. He chose 3 days. But on the first day it was fairly, he says, I sinned, what have these sheep done? What have they done? And so the Medrash explains, Hashem first of all stopped it at the first day, and he didn't do the other 2 days. And he listened to David's prayer. And this is the place where David found and did a tikkun, because he saw the nevuah, the ruach hakodesh. He saw the angel over. It's brought down in the Haggadah from Sefer Daniel. He's holding the shlufa, cherev shlufa, all Yerushalayim. He knew that was the place of the makom hamizbeach, and he ran there to do karbanos and to stay the magefa. And obviously to take it from the Yevusi there and pay for it for Klal Yisrael to have the Makom HaMikdash. So in any event, the Medrash says the sin of the people here involved, since it was only David's sin, what did they do? It says they yearned for David to be alive. The Hashem was upset at them that they didn't yearn hard enough for the Shekhinah to be shora in their midst and build the base of Mikdash, and so therefore they were punished in this way, that 70,000 Jews died. And it says that they were innocent, though. They said, but we don't want our king to die. We didn't want David HaMelech to die. And so obviously, if Hashem has a taina, there must be a reason. And the reason is because you put Basar V'Dam, the covet of Basar V'Dam, you're yearning for him, above your yearning for Hashem, to be shora in the base of Mikdash. And so that led to that takala. So you see that the base of Mikdash is very precious to Hashem, that it's not just in Gullus, it's been Dalad Alas Shahalacha, that Hashem is only to be found in the 4 L's, or the 4 Amos of the Torah. And when we learn, we bring Hashem down. But Hashem yearns for more than that. Hashem yearns for there to be a place in Yerushalayim where he again lives with the entire Jewish people, and we have to do more. There's a medrash that Rabbi Kahana brings. I don't have the name of it. The medrash says that the Jewish people, Hashem says to them, sages of the world, I know that your Torah is precious to you. I think it's Sikta Rabasai. He says, I know that the Torah is precious to you. And another girsa says, I know the Torah is precious to me, but you're not doing right. You're only waiting for my Torah all these years, and you're not waiting, you're not waiting for my malchus. What does this mean? It doesn't mean that they were waiting for the Torah. They were learning the Torah, Yomam V'Layla, for thousands of years, and they're not waiting for anything. Hashem is saying, just like you were constantly involved in my Torah, I expect you to be constantly involved with trying to proclaim my malchus and bring my malchus to bear. You're not supposed to just sit back and wait for me to do it. You're supposed to actively, and this is what Rabbeinu Yerucham, the famous mashgiach Ruchni of the Mir Yeshiva, he didn't write it. His Talmidim wrote it. His shmuzim, he brought down, he said, what is the purpose of the Torah? If you have to sum it up, he said, in one goal, in one midah, what is the purpose of the Torah and the creation of the world from the beginning of time to the end of time, from the beginning of the Torah to the end of the Torah? And he says the one purpose is Hashem wanted there to be a people that belonged to him, that he could give his Torah to, and that they should march into Eretz Yisrael and conquer it and build him a base of Mikdash and proclaim him Melech over the whole world. That's the goal of the Torah. So if we're not thinking in those terms, no matter how great we're learning, we're not doing what Hashem has put in the Torah for us to do. Rabbi Yerucham was one of the biggest Talmidei Chachamim Gedolim of his generation. He's not a lightweight, he's not some insignificant figure. If he says this, we should take it to heart. In fact, there's a Yerushalmi in Meiser Sheni 5:2 that says the Beis Hamikdash will be built. The Beis Hamikdash will be built before Mashiach ben David comes. And so the question is, how could that be? The Sefer Yecheskel, the last 10 prakim of Sefer Yecheskel, is all about the third Beis Hamikdash. And we completely don't understand what he's talking about, so how could we build that? So it says that he'll build either Mashiach ben Yosef, or we, if we don't have Mashiach ben Yosef, we are supposed to build the second Beis Hamikdash over again. And when Mashiach ben David gets here, he's going to renovate it into what Yecheskel was given a nevuah to make the third Beis Hamikdash. He'll be a Navi, Mashiach. And that's what it means, that the Beis Hamikdash will come down from Shemayim through the nevuah of Mashiach ben David to renovate the Beis Hamikdash and to make it into what Yecheskel's vision was, the way Hashem wants the third Beis Hamikdash to be. But it shouldn't stop us. In Masechtas Midos and Masechtas Tamid, it explains the whole thing, what the Beis Hamikdash Sheni looked like, and we could build it today. We could have built it 54 years ago if we had the courage and we had the will, a strong enough will to do it. I'll just close on this Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi says that the Beis Hamikdash will be built before Mashiach ben David is here. And the Gra on the page agrees with this pshat. There's machlokas, is this true or not? And the Gra is noted to this pshat. And what's the pshat? The pshat is that the nevuah of Yaakov Avinu to Yehuda, and his blessing, his bracha to him before he died, the bracha was that he'll be awash in the blood of wine. Part of the nusach there is the part of the bracha is about wine, and so there was a decree in the second Beis Hamikdash that anybody who was close enough to see Yerushalayim was obligated, D'Rabbanan, obviously, obligated to bring grapes for Meiser Sheni to the Beis Hamikdash, because there was a vast shortage of grapes in the time of the second Beis Hamikdash, because there was not enough wine to do the avoda in the Beis Hamikdash and to have grapes for Bikurim and grapes for Meiser Sheni, and therefore they made a decree that people had to bring grapes. Otherwise they could have brought other fruit, or they could have brought their Meiser Sheni in the form of money, and they could buy meat and drink and food, vegetables, whatever, and they would never have to have, but they wanted to beautify Yerushalayim for the Meiser Sheni, for the Bikurim, and so they've made a decree, you have to bring these grapes if you're close enough to the walls of Yerushalayim. And then when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, was left the remnant of the Chachamim in Yavna. They made a decree that they were mevatel this. I don't know why they had to be mevatel it. There was no, I don't think, or maybe there still was Meiser Sheni that you could bring to Yerushalayim, even though the Beis Hamikdash is destroyed. You were still mechuyev to bring your Meiser Sheni. I don't know if this is true or not. I have to check it out. But anyway, they were mevatel the decree. But they left it open, should that the Beis Hamikdash comes back, whenever that is, this gezer that we had given over on Klal Yisrael will be reinstated. And it'll come back, and you're going to have to abide by it and bring grapes again, because there'll be a vast shortage and a great need to turn all the grapes in Eretz Yisrael into the wine to do the avoda of the yain, nisach hayayin. And you have to bring your grapes, whatever's left over, to beautify Yerushalayim with the Mahana Yerushalayim with the fruit of the peiros of the grapes. And so the Gemara there says this is the proof that the Beis Hamikdash is going to be built before Mashiach ben David. Because if it's Mashiach ben David from Shevet Yehuda, there won't be any shortage of wine anymore. Like other nevuos talk about, you'll have the harvest meeting the planting and the growing, and the one harvest will lead into the next season. There'll be a wash, just like the bracha of Yaakov will be Mekuyim to Shevet Yehuda that there'll be plenty of yain. So therefore, plenty of grapes, you won't need this Gezerah D'Rabbanan. So therefore, that's the proof, and the Gra agrees with it, that the base of Mikdash will be built by us. Mashiach ben Yosef, Hastis, I don't know, whatever. I mean, obviously, we're not getting our act together to go do it, even though the Rambam says we have a mitzvah to do it. The Rambam says in Beis Bechira 1:1, he says, based on the pasuk in Truma, Asur Mikdash v'shachantu b'socham, it says it's a mitzvah. Al kol zaman, the Beis Hamikdash is not standing. It's a mitzvah on every Jew, every gadol, man, woman. Everyone has a mitzvah to build the Beis Hamikdash. Elamai, what does he say at the end of his magnum opus in Sefer Malachim U'Melchamos? He says at the end that one of the simanim that the person who's Mashiach is, besides the wars and besides being machnis ba'arba konfos ha'aretz, all the Jews back to Eretz Yisrael, is he'll build the Beis Hamikdash. So Binyamin Khan asks, so which is it? Is it our mitzvah to do, like the Rambam says in Beis Bechira, or is it the mitzvah of the Mashiach to build the Beis Hamikdash? And he answers, and he says, obviously it's our mitzvah to do, based on the pasuk Asuli Mikdash, b'shachantu b'socham. And if we don't do it, so Mela, the Mashiach's going to have to do it. Because we fell down on it. And I pointed out many times to people, the Rambam could never be masig, that there'll be Jews in Eretz Yisrael with bias over military and political control over Eretz Yisrael. He couldn't even, 800 years ago, he couldn't even be masig. There would be Jews like that wouldn't build a base of Mikdash, Nebuch. We have the government Nebuch that we have, that is the Rishoim, Shabrishoim, Erev Rav. And so he couldn't be masig that there would be these kind of Jews there. He thought either we'll be in Gullus to the very end, and there will be no choice but Mashiach will have to lead the building of the base of Mikdash, or we'll go back early, even without Mashiach, somehow get back to Eretz Yisrael, and of course we'll build it, because we have a mitzvah to build it. So that's the way. I have much more here to talk about. I don't want to belabor the point, nor do I want to, tircha de tzibur, I don't want to trouble you. I think there is much more we can be doing to try, not just in davening, not just in learning the mitzvahs, but in calling out for fellow Jews to have this as a campaign. More than a campaign to bring Mashiach, we need a campaign to build the base of Mikdash. That's something that can unify every Jew in the world, and that's what we should be concentrating on. Shvua Tov, Shvua Tov. Okay, wait, you don't... Okay, I'm not going to get into that. I have so much more.